Hello and welcome to Future Fit Leadership. I'm your host, Sadna Smiles, and welcome to our Spotlight series where I speak with bold, curious, and forward-thinking leaders about the world of leadership we're stepping into. These conversations are here to challenge, inspire, and remind you that the future of leadership is being shaped right now by leaders like you. Because let's be honest, we are the generation of leaders writing the new rules. Please enjoy my conversations in this Spotlight series. Joining us today is Dr. Ben Hamer, who is a workforce futurist, spends his time thinking about what's coming next in the world of work. He's all about helping leaders make sense of change before it hits. Ben Hamer, welcome back to Future Fit Leadership, to our Spotlight series this time. How are you?
I'm doing good. Nice to see you again.
I'm looking forward to this conversation because I'm sure you have a real spin on what you see as the future of leadership. So let's start with the first question I've got for you. If you had to describe a future fit leader in just 3 words, the kind of leader we'll need most in the years ahead, what would they be and why?
Yeah, so I think one area that I'm kind of researching a lot at the moment, which I think really applies to leaders and leadership, is curiosity. So that's the first word for me. And curiosity, because I think as we get older, as we get more experienced, we sometimes think that we know everything. We sometimes start to get a little bit closed off in terms of new ways of doing things. But also there's the pressure of sort of the roles that we're in, what people expect of us, that, we think we need to be the person that has all the answers. But really, with the pace of change, it's important to keep asking questions, and the right questions, keep an open mind, and lean into that curiosity that we have so much as a kid that kind of diminishes as we get older. So that would be the first one. The second one is an adaptive leader. There's so many variations of, we hear about adaptive intelligence or, the adaptive quotient and a whole lot of stuff within the field of leadership. But really what that's talking to is similar to what I was talking about with curiosity, the ability to still be vulnerable to learn things and admit what we don't know. But then it's that next step, which is to not only learn, but unlearn and relearn as well. So things are continually moving. We have to let things go. We have to be open to new ways of doing things. And I think the third word for me is one that is really powerful, and it's human. I think, we hear and talk so much about AI, about technology, about all things digital, but at the end of the day, it's, the human qualities that complement but don't compete with the technology. And so that's when we talk about authenticity and all of that kind of stuff, but it's really just be a human.
I like that. I like being a human, but I also like unlearning stuff, because sometimes that's harder to do than we think.
Yeah, and we often sort of, whether it's in what we do or how we do it, we always take more and more on, but we don't let things go or we don't stop things. So whether or not that's in sort of a commercial setting or whether that's just us as leaders and the skills that we have, we can't just keep adding and adding and adding. We need to take away or let some things go.
What's one future shift coming the next few years that you think most leaders are underestimating or not prepared for?
I mean, we've spoken about this, I think, before, but I harp on about, younger generations a lot, right? Because no matter what I say or who I talk to, there's still this view, particularly from the more senior leaders, and also within, people I've spoken to within the real estate profession, that I know that you play a lot in, is this idea that Gen Z and we've seen the first of Gen Alpha enter the workforce this year as well, that they're lazy, they're entitled, they expect things to be handed on them, they don't know the value of hard work. But really, I think that that sort of narrative is getting in the way of, right, but what are we going to do about it? Because, if we look at Australia, we're going to see a quarter of all workers over the next few years be Gen Z talent. And so you need to attract and retain top Gen Z talent if you want to not just survive, but also thrive as an organization and as a leader. And so all of that negative talk about younger generations, it might feel good, but there are actually people that are starting to do things about it, and they're the ones that are going to jump ahead. So not to say that, you have to bend over backwards and completely shift and change what you do as a leader, but I think that's the thing we're not necessarily prepared for, because with those younger generations will come a much greater emphasis on things like well-being and flexibility and purpose and impact and value. And they don't value the traditional markers of success, like, you and I and our generations growing up, which was all about salary and status and job title and all that kind of stuff. They're a completely different ballgame. And so that's kind of where we need to start seeing that shift.
The interesting point you make about those elements is that businesses can't shift into that space overnight.
Mm.
It's work you need to do over a long period of time, for to have those values and that purpose, and how we treat people, etc. It's not something we can just switch on and off. And the generation coming through will expect to see history behind all of that as well.
Yeah, because they want to know that it's not just, words on a page or stickers on a wall or whatever. Like, you walk into so many buildings and they have their values plastered on the wall, but then what do you actually do about it? But the thing that sort of, as you were saying, that sort of was reinforced for me is that while it is something that's being pushed by Gen Z, it's also, something that anyone in any generation would want. Who doesn't want to feel like they're making a difference? Who doesn't want to feel like there's purpose to the work that they're doing? So that's where, to me, I feel like they're almost no-brainers, but they are becoming non-negotiables.
What do you wish more leaders were paying closer attention to?
Great question. I think nothing specifically, but more so if I think about it at a macro level, I wish leaders were paying more attention to the longer term future. And so, that's a very biased answer for me as a futurist, and it's the work that I do. But working with organizations, I just find that we're so focused with what's happening right in front of us, or we're so inwardly focused around what we're doing as an organization or as a leadership team. We don't necessarily stop and look out and take in what's happening in the external environment, but moreover, what's happening in the next 2, 3, 5 years. And so, there are some people that are just starting to play with artificial intelligence now. And I'm like, guys, we need to be talking about what's next with AI, not how do I use ChatGPT to help write an email. So I wished that we were thinking more about how we could better balance the short term with the longer term, and that we provided the spaces to be able to do that. So I know some organizations where they might have a leadership team meeting and the first 5 minutes is someone who shares a trend, or they share an interesting data point or something like that. And that just helps to build the muscle and shift the tone in the conversation. So it doesn't have to be, big, but I think it's going to be invaluable if organizations and individual leaders can do it more and more.
I like that one. What are the possibilities or shifts you see in the future of leadership or work that genuinely excites you, and why?
I think for me, it's the idea that we can finally stop managing time and we can start managing energy. And it sounds a little bit like esoteric, but it's less about the 9 to 5. It's less about, we need to see you at your desk to know that you're being productive. We're seeing that AI is absorbing and taking on a lot of administrative tasks. And so I think with that, we have a shot at designing work better, and as humans focusing on what and when we perform best, not necessarily what the clock says when we should work. And so for me, I think that's a bit of a game changer. I think that that's going to take time, because we saw what happened when, we kind of lent hard into working from home, and then all of a sudden it got reversed and there was the discomfort around that. But I think technology is really going to drive that shift. And as I said, something I'm really excited about.
If you could embed one leadership quality into every current or future CEO, something you believe will be essential in the next decade, what would it be and why?
I think I kind of already said it, but it's that ability to unlearn. I think that for me is critical. The leaders that succeed won't be the ones who know everything. They won't be the ones with the most experience. They're going to be the ones who have open minds, who challenge not just the assumptions of others, but their own. Because for me, I've always said the sign of a successful leader is someone who, can go on leave or, be out of the office for 2 weeks, 1 month, and the organization keeps going and people are able to step into their role and the wheels keep turning. To me, it's that sort of that curiosity and that willingness to learn, unlearn, and relearn that really underpins that. So I think that's the number one quality for me.
Ben, thank you for joining us on the Spotlight series. As always, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. You too.
I hope you're enjoying our conversation. A quick word from our sponsor. Have you ever wondered how to attract, develop, and augment diverse leadership capability in your organization? Well, Future Leadership has a range of leadership solutions, including executive search, interim executives, leadership development programs, coaching, and workforce transformation specialist. They are an Australian-owned B Corp and one of very few globally accredited and connected talent solution firms. They are very proud of their 22-year history, bringing more diverse leadership to Australian decision-making tables. See the link in our show notes to get in touch with them. If you like what you've heard, please share, rate, and review this podcast. And don't forget to share it with anyone who might benefit from hearing it. The producer of Future Fit Leadership is Maritza Barone from Guide Your Light Network. If you would like to reach out to me, please DM me on any of my social media platforms. I'm available for speaking at conferences or consulting to your business. Future Fit is created in partnership with Future Leadership, a capability ecosystem for boards and executives. If you'd like to join the community and receive a free takeaway each week, sign up to the Future Exchange app in my show notes. Thank you for having me in your space.